Hey, what's up, beer tubers? Eric back today with another beer review on a very unpleasant spring day, actually evening now, in Minnesota. It is snowing outside. It has been for the last 4 or 5 hours, so it's really getting old. The only real positive of this is we get to keep exploring some bigger beers that I normally would not be drinking in the summer. So today we're going to look at North Coast's Brewing Company's Old Stock Ale 2013 vintage. This is a beer I have had many times, but never really sought it out. It was just there and I opened it. This was back in school, back in college. Never really thought much of it, but it is an English style old ale. It is brewed in classic tradition with Maris Otter malts, Fuggles and East Kent Goldings. Clocks in at 11.9% ABV. So, interestingly enough, it doesn't really talk about other malts. So I actually kind of wonder if this is just one of those, almost a single malt double hop beer. They say their recommended serving temp is 60 degrees, so I'm going to pour it a little colder than that, as it's been just chilling down in the fridge. Actually, it was outside in my car, so without further ado, I'm going to open this one and get it into a glass. So here's the pour. Pours that really, really deep, rich, hazy amber, like almost mahogany brown. The old stock just, very faint amount of head and lacing. Nothing too terribly impressive, but almost 12%. You would expect that. Yeah, overall, really, really nice looking old ale. So let's get our noses into this one. Yeah, wow. Definitely a lot of character from the English style yeast strain coming through. A lot of almost a little bit estery. There's a lot of booze coming through, which naturally I think this was released in February, so this is to be expected. I actually would like to see this cellared and maybe start a little vertical. But back to the aroma. Yeah, I get a ton of like toffee and dark fruit and dates, like brandy soaked figs almost. Really, really rich smelling beer. Obviously some caramel, but not a lot of hops coming through in the aroma. I'm going to get into the taste on this one. Thanks guys for stopping by on a cold Minnesota spring day. Hopefully you're enjoying warmer weather. Cheers. Wow. That's a classic example of an old ale. I just had Old Curmudgeon not too long ago, and they're honestly very similar. This one doesn't have the oak presence, but pretty impressive stuff. The booze actually is well hidden. There's so much dark fruits and toffee and caramel and just, that rich malty presence you would expect. It's almost like a English barley wine. It really, the line to me is very, very faint, and you could almost go both ways. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually sit down and enjoy this one for, I don't know, a good half hour, and let it warm up to the recommended serving temperature, about 60 degrees. And then I'm going to come back and let you know what I really think of this beer. As it stands right now, it's impressive, but I want to see what North Coast wants me to experience, so we'll be back in a jiffy. Hey beer tubers, Eric back after about a half hour of sipping the North Coast Old Stock Ale 2013 vintage. It's warmed up considerably, probably 60, 65 even. The nose is just a lot more like toffee and vanilla. Not as much dark fruits per se, but definitely a fruity, rich caramel flavor that's just more fleshed out when it warms up. As it warms up, I mean booze comes through a little bit more. Maybe that's what they intended. But nothing overwhelming. It doesn't burn or coat your throat. It doesn't. It's not aggressive. It's just, it lets you know it's there. So, man, I like pouring this at both temperatures. I thought it was great. You know what? I'm gonna have to go like a 92 out of 100 on this one. I think maybe even a 93. It does everything an old ale should. The fact that it, per their website, is only Maris Otter malt is even more impressive. You would think something with this much complexity and this high of a ABV would incorporate many, many more malts. But I've got nothing but positive things to say about North Coast Old Stock Ale 2013. Hope you guys can find some. I believe it's out. I don't know how hard it is to get. I feel like it's kind of like Old Rasputin. If you look in the right places, it's always there. So, thanks for dropping by for another beer review, guys. And always remember to please respect beer, and we'll see you again for another one. Cheers.